Hi there. I'm going to do a review for Independence Day. This movie came out in 1996, and contrary to the title of the movie, this is actually about an alien invasion. Basically, humans find a signal coming from far away, and the joke is it's coming from the moon, which invites a lot of joke. Could invite a bit of a joke, but nonetheless, that's what the movie's about. Nope, it's a movie made, directed by Roland Emmerich, and starring the likes of Jeff Goldblum and Bill Pullman and Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. I guess it's Jada Pinkett at this point. She wasn't Smith yet. Or no, it wasn't Jada Pinkett. It was Vivica Fox. It doesn't matter. Will Smith. The three biggest stars are obviously the big stars. More or less, this is like the quintessential '90s space disaster movie because it made a lot of bang. It made a lot of money at the box office. It was a big name movie. Um, it had a big plot circumference. What I think it comes down to is that it's considered like one of those really, really uh, good movies about alien invasion. Basically, the whole joke is that aliens are coming to town. They get a signal. It's been the aliens are using our satellites against us to conduct their maneuvers. Basically, a big mothership is coming in. A bunch of smaller ships come down to the cities, and they hover over them menacingly. Of course, this can't be a friendly encounter. And of course, they come here to wipe us out. That's the whole plan. Why are they wiping us out? Well, it doesn't really matter why they're wiping us out, does it? More or less, the whole joke is Bill Pullman is playing the President of the United States, and his approval rating is in the toilet because of reasons we don't entirely clear about. Nonetheless, he he's more or less the suitable. I think he's supposed to be the in joke of, of Bill Clinton. Is that he's supposed to be this president that's not always doing so hot. But nonetheless, there it is. This is the movie where, and also Jeff Goldblum plays a character who's a TV repairman working at a TV station. Um, you get a wide range of characters. Will Smith is apparently an Air Force pilot, although they don't really show him right away a lot. In fact, quite a few characters don't get shown right away. Um, Nonetheless, you got a bunch of a plethora of people shown in this movie. There's no doubt that they had the ensemble cast for a reason. Um, yeah, this movie is kind of hilarious. I think I think it was the quintessential '90s movie. I think it even sort of outshadowed Jurassic Park in a small way because it was about alien invasion. And of course, big ships show up in the sky, and of course, they basically the lowdown is they blast our cities. They fire a round at our cities, and our cities all get destroyed. And the U.S. Air Force, of course, brings out its counterattack, and of course, it gets wiped out because the aliens have shielding. I guess that's what's going on. It's supposed to be a variation, I believe, on War of the Worlds. I think that was always what the intention was. It's just a variation on War of the Worlds. Anytime aliens come down, actually, they hadn't done a movie like this in quite a while. There's been numerous alien invasion movies made, but nothing in a long while. I think the whole point was that somebody wanted to make another alien invasion movie with modern visual effects, modern pyrotechnics, and it's kind of amusing. This is pre 9/11, so of course, all the buildings that get blown up and blow up iconic landmarks in such gruesome fashion that it's kind of interesting how they actually did that. And nowadays, of course, in the years after 9/11, I don't think you could have gotten away with that. But nonetheless, they do that, and they had this happen. And I think the main reason why they got away with it the way they did was because, of course, it's supposed to be the joke of, you know, of the fact that this was the 90s. America was in a totally different methodical position in the 90s. It was not the America of today where they are cautionary and a little bit reactionary. It's the America of the 90s. Very much distant from now. But nonetheless, the aliens come and destroy our cities, and of course, Bill Pullman's president has to launch this counterattack against the aliens, and of course, it all fails. It's actually kind of amusing. This, of course, doesn't take itself too seriously. When you say that the Air Forces of the world wouldn't do a minor recon on these ships before launching this attack. I mean, given that most of the time the militaries of the world are on roughly equal footing. On this one, of course, the aliens are far superior to our technology, which we kind of find out right away. I'm guessing the fact that they're floating in the air doesn't hint that they're slightly more advanced. Nonetheless, the militaries have to go into hiding because, of course, they get wiped out in the first volley, and a huge amount of their force power is decimated. This is different than the later War of the Worlds, which has an awkward battle sequence sort of late in the film. Even though the humans supposedly know about the shields, the military is still trying to fight them. This movie, I think, is trying to be a straight up popcorn flick too. It has a lot of fun with its premise. You got a plethora of characters. You got Russell Case, played by I forget. I don't know. There's lots of characters in this movie, and I think the whole point was that joke was that, Bill Pullman's playing the president, and of course, yeah, he's playing Thomas Whitmore. I think he was supposed to be an anagram on Bill Clinton. The biggest problem with him was that his wife was in Los Angeles and she didn't quite make it out, so she kind of passed away in the movie, and this causes a big conflagration. Of course, at a certain point, they realized that they wanted to use nuclear weapons against the aliens because they had exhausted all the options available to them, and they were going to attempt to use nuclear weapons, and then the nukes, of course, didn't work because that's exactly what the problem was. It's a fairly big problem in this movie is that a huge number of I think the biggest problem with this movie I've always found is the ending, is how they defeat the aliens. I actually don't mind the characters all that much because they're just meant to be silly, just straightforward characters. They're not meant to be too complex, not meant to be too terribly interesting. Russell Case is a drunk pilot who has had experience with planes and experience in Vietnam. And of course, Jeff Goldblum plays David Levinson, who's got some expertise in software engineering and stuff. Supposedly, I don't know how he's got expertise in so much, given that he's just supposed to be a TV repairman. And it was great because at the end, of course, there's that little problem this movie I think is always going to have, is that their method for dealing with the aliens is that David Levinson figures out to use a computer virus on the alien ships, and this ends up working. Why this was used, I don't know. It works, it's fine, it's a science fiction movie, it's purely fantasy. I think that's the biggest problem, is that the aliens don't have a proper defense system. I think at the time we didn't really care too much about what they were using on the aliens. I think we were just happy that they have aliens that are eliminated this way to show one up or something. They did, of course, find out that the aliens at Roswell were real, and that there's a ship hidden, and that's how they used to get a LoJack into the alien ship, the mothership. They got up there with this little ship that they had stuck away for 50 years, 60 years, and of course it ends up working out, that they get through, and they plant this virus. Of course, the U.S. Air Force and the Air Force of the world are able to launch a counterattack. and defeat the aliens. The sizable thing is that they basically fought, the basic end of the ball game was flying a fighter jet up into the laser targeter system, and that caused a backfire, I guess. Again, not taking itself too seriously. It's a pretty straightforward film. It's supposed to be fun popcorn flick. Not much for thinking going on this film. Honestly, the further we get away from it, the sillier it gets. It's still a fun movie though. This is not like Armageddon where it gets, the further it gets away, the worse it gets. This actually, to me, is still a fun movie to watch. I think it's just because it's aliens. This movie stays pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I don't know. I don't mind it too much. I don't mind it too much these days. It's not aged too badly. The visual effects still hold up. Everything still works. So, all in all, it's not too bad of a film. It's just it's aging. It does age a little bit over time because it gets a little bit silly about why things are happening. But they do keep a sense of wonder about the fact that these are alien ships, and of course everybody's a little bit shocked. But nonetheless, yeah, it's, I don't know. For an alien invasion movie, I think it's pretty par for the course. I mean, there's not much difference in all of them. But yeah, it's a fine movie.